thousands of years ago. Long before magic's sparkle, the Cinderella story was already being told. The pumpkin carriage, the glass slipper, the fairy godmother, they're only fragments of a legend that stretches across time and continents. But where did this iconic story actually come from? Who wrote it? Let's unravel the original story behind the world's most famous fairy tale. The story we're about to explore is so old that finding a single original author is impossible. It's a tale that has been whispered around campfires and passed down through generations across countless cultures. But our first stop is ancient Egypt, with a story recorded by the Greek historian Strabo around 2,000 years ago. Forget Cinderella, her name was Rhodopis. She was a beautiful Greek girl who was captured and sold into slavery in Egypt. One day, while she was bathing in the river, an eagle swooped down and snatched one of her sandals. This majestic bird then flew all the way to the city of Memphis and dropped the sandal right into the lap of the pharaoh as he was holding court. The pharaoh, struck by the delicate beauty of the sandal and seeing this as a sign from the gods, was captivated. He ordered his men to search the entire kingdom for the woman who owned it. Imagine that. A nationwide search for a single shoe. His men eventually found Rhodopis, brought her to the pharaoh, and enchanted by her beauty, he made her his queen. Sound familiar? No pumpkin, no mice, but the core elements, a lost shoe and a royal marriage, were already there thousands of years ago. Now, let's fast forward to 17th century Europe, where the story really starts to take the shape we recognize today. Our next key figure is an Italian writer named Giambattista Bussetti. In 1634, he published a collection of stories called The Tale of Tales, and within it was a story titled The Cat Cinderentula or La Gatta Cenerentola. This version is, well, it's a lot darker. Our heroine, Zaizola, is mistreated by her stepmother. So what does she do? Encouraged by her governess, Zaizola conspires to have her stepmother killed by tricking her into looking into a chest and then slamming the heavy lid on her neck. Yes, you heard that right. Our Cinderella is an accomplice to murder. Afterwards, her father marries the governess, who turns out to be even worse, bringing along her own 6 daughters who abuse Zaizola terribly. They force her to live in the kitchen, covered in ash, which is where she gets the name Cat Cinderella. It's a gritty, morally complex tale that shows just how different early versions could be. The magic here comes from a date tree that grows from a seed given to her by a fairy, providing her with the beautiful clothes she needs to attend the king's feast. The king falls for her, but she escapes him multiple times. The pursuit is more of a chase, and it's the king's servant who eventually captures her slipper, in this version a pianella, a type of platform shoe. The king then uses the shoe to find her, and the story ends with her becoming queen. This Italian version is grittier, but it introduces key elements like the wicked stepfamily and the magical assistance that helps her attend a royal event. But the version that truly cemented Cinderella in our hearts comes from France. In 1697, Charles Perrault published his tales of Mother Goose. Perrault was writing for the sophisticated aristocratic courts of King Louis XIV, so he polished the story, removing the grit and violence of Beauxour's version and adding a layer of elegance and charm. In Perrault's tale, our heroine is the epitome of grace. She's gentle, patient, and endlessly forgiving. After her father's death, she silently endures the cruelty of her vain stepmother and her two selfish stepsisters. Have you ever wondered about her name, Cinderella? Well, in Perrault's original French, she's called Cendrillon. This name comes from the French word cendre, which means cinders or ashes. Because she was forced to sleep by the hearth and was always covered in soot and ashes from cleaning the fireplaces, her cruel older stepsister mockingly nicknamed her Cinderwench. The name stuck, a constant cruel reminder of her lowly position in the household. It was a name meant to demean her, but ironically, it became the name the whole world would come to know and love. So there she is, covered in cinders, her dreams of attending the royal ball completely dashed. Her stepsisters have left in their fine clothes, leaving her alone by the fireplace. All hope seems lost. But then, in a swirl of magic and light, her fairy godmother appears. This character is one of Perrault's most brilliant additions. She's the embodiment of hope, the magical helper who sees Cinderella's inner worth when no one else does. And this is where the real magic begins, the part we all remember. With a wave of her wonder bippity-boppity-boo of its time, the ordinary becomes extraordinary. A humble pumpkin from the garden patch swells and transforms into a magnificent golden coach. Four little mice, scurrying in the corner, become four majestic horses to pull it. A whiskered rat is turned into a portly, mustachioed coachman, and a few lizards from the garden become smartly dressed footmen, ready to leap down and open the carriage door. It's a spectacle of pure enchantment. Of course, the most important transformation is Cinderella herself. Her filthy rags melt away, replaced by a breathtaking gown woven from blue and silver thread, sparkling under the moonlight. And for her feet, the fairy godmother bestows upon her the most famous footwear in all of fiction, a pair of delicate, exquisite glass slippers. Imagine that, slippers made of glass, so fragile and beautiful, a symbol of how unique and special she truly is. No one else could wear them. But Perrault introduces another crucial element that Disney later made famous, a deadline. The magic is temporary. Be home by midnight. Her fairy godmother warns. The spell will break when the clock strikes 12. This adds a fantastic layer of suspense and urgency to the story. It's not just about getting to the ball, it's about the race against time. This ticking clock makes her fleeting moments with the prince that much more precious and her dramatic, hurried exit unforgettable. At the ball, everyone is captivated by the mysterious princess. The prince is utterly smitten. He has eyes for no one else. But as the clock begins to chime midnight, Cinderella remembers her godmother's warning. She flees, leaving behind not a note, not a name, but a single glass slipper on the palace steps. This tiny, fragile clue becomes the key to the entire kingdom's search. The prince is heartbroken but determined. He declares he will marry the woman whose foot fits the slipper. The royal herald travels throughout the land, trying the slipper on every lady. Of course, it fits no one. When they arrive at Cinderella's house, the stepsisters try desperately to force their feet into the tiny slipper, but it's no use. Just as the herald is about to leave, someone points to the quiet girl in rags by the fireplace. The stepmother and stepsisters laugh, but the prince's envoy insists, and when Cinderella's foot slides effortlessly into the glass slipper, it's a perfect fit. In some tellings, she even pulls the other slipper from her pocket, proving beyond all doubt that she was the mysterious princess. At the end, Cinderella even forgives her stepsisters and finds them suitable husbands. For Perrault, this story goes beyond just magic and romance. It's all about virtue. He's saying that grace, kindness, and forgiveness matter way more than fancy clothes or looks. Cinderella's real win isn't just snagging the prince, it's how she rises above all the cruelty and shows compassion, her true magic. It's her inner goodness. But wait, the story doesn't end there. Just a little over a century later, in Germany, two brothers were collecting folk tales from across the land. You know them as the Brothers Grimm. In 1812, they published their own version of the story, called Aschenputtel. And if you thought Bosel's version was dark, the Grimm's tale is downright gruesome. In Aschenputtel, there's no fairy godmother. Instead, Cinderella plants a hazel twig on her mother's grave, waters it with her tears, and it grows into a magical tree. A little white bird in the tree is the one who grants her wishes, tossing down beautiful dresses for the 3-day festival. When the prince tries to find the owner of the lost slipper, which is gold, by the way, not glass, the stepsisters go to extreme lengths. The stepmother hands a knife to the eldest daughter and tells her, "Cut off your toe. When you are queen, you will no longer have to go on foot." The daughter does it, but as she rides away with the prince, two little pigeons from the magic tree cry out, look back, there's blood on the shoe," exposing her lie. The second stepsister is told to cut off a piece of her heel, with the same gruesome result. In the end, when Cinderella is rightfully recognized, the stepsisters attend her wedding, hoping to gain favor. But the pigeons from the hazel tree have other plans. During the ceremony, they fly down and peck out the stepsisters' eyes, leaving them blind for the rest of their lives as punishment for their wickedness. It's a stark reminder that in many older tales, justice wasn't just about a happy ending. It was about harsh eye for an eye retribution. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of other Cinderella variants from all around the world, from China and Vietnam to Ireland and North America. Each one adds its own unique cultural flavor, proving that this isn't just one story, but a universal story frame that can be filled with the details of any culture. So, from an Egyptian slave girl named Rhodopis to a morally ambiguous Italian heroine, a forgiving French maiden, and a German girl whose bird companions exact brutal revenge, the story of Cinderella has been told and retold in countless ways. Each version reflects the values, fears, and hopes of the culture that told it. Perrault gave us the romance and magic that we love, while the Brothers Grimm reminded us of the story's darker, more primal roots where good triumphs and evil is punished, often violently. The core idea of a downtrodden but virtuous person whose true worth is finally recognized is so powerful and universal that it has resonated with people for millennia. It's a story of hope, transformation, and the belief that no matter how much ash you're covered in, your inner light can still shine through and lead you to a better life. So the next time you watch the Disney movie, remember the long and winding road this story has traveled. From the banks of the Nile to the gruesome imagination of the Brothers Grimm. It's so much more than just a fairy tale.